All right, that does it for our top 5 TV shows of 2024. Let's talk about our top 5 movies of 2024. Now, I want to start this off by saying to everybody, we already talked about our top 5 movies at length on our movie Late Night at the Movies with our other co-hosts that are on that show normally, Max as well as Julie. So if you guys want a more in-depth conversation about our picks, as well as their picks, which I will mention in this conversation here today. But if you want to hear us all talk about our picks in detail and maybe at length, make sure to check out that show. So that is our favorite movies of the year. We put out an episode of Late Night at the Movies. It is in the feed. It would have came out just prior to this episode. So make sure to go back and check that out, guys, because that is now our movie show here. We've kind of brought it back, rebooted it this year, and we kind of changed the format on a bit. And we added a couple more guests because usually used to be just me and JT on that show, but now we have Julie and Max who are on also as well as much as they can with me and JT. And we also are planning on having more guests come on in the new year. So definitely check that show out. That's been a lot of fun. That's basically each of us makes a pick and goes back and we watch the movie and we go back and talk about it on the show when we get together in different categories and stuff like that. So we were having a lot of fun doing that one, but we did a year-end video of all our favorite movies of 2024 on there, so definitely check that out. Jay, I don't know if you're going to be doing anything differently or if you're going to be revising your list for this conversation, because I know you said you were watching some things after you had recorded your list on that episode, so are you going to be revising it a bit here?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Plus, there was a few more things that I wanted to double-check that came out that I did watch this year, and I wanted to let everybody know, right? So I do apologize about that if I switched a few things over, guys, but sometimes that happens, right, when you really sit back and think about it. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't fuck you guys up too much.
I think it's still worth checking out, and my list is going to stay the same, but to kind of make it a little bit more interesting for us upon this conversation, I did want to switch it up, and I did mention during our conversation of doing our top 5 movies over on Late Night at the Movies episode, year-end episode there, I did mention I felt like this was a really great year for horror, so I'm going to be mentioning my top 5 other horror movies that didn't make my list that I figured were worth mentioning here today. So I am going to be giving you my top 5 list, but I'm also going to be letting you know about 5 other good horror movies you can check out that came out this year. An amazing year of horror. I haven't even watched all the good horror movies I heard that came out this year yet myself, but the 5 that I did that I watched that didn't make my honorable mentions or top 5 on that episode, I did want to mention here today to give you guys something new as well to look forward to. So there you go. But let's go through our other co-host lists here before proceeding here to me and Jay's list. Okay, so looking at Lewis's list here, he mentioned the fact that he hasn't really seen that many movies this year. So here's his top 3. Coming in number 3, a movie called Mary. I've never even heard of that came out this year. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, that was actually that's one.
He said it just watched it yesterday.
Yeah, the Immaculate
Conception.
That's her, Mary. When they're talking about Mary, that's what they're talking about. Jesus' mother.
Where did this come out on a streaming service or something?
It just, you know what? I seen it on my app. I don't know what streaming service
it's about an Immaculate Conception.
No, it's about Jesus. It's about her. It's about that Mary.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a movie I guess that just came out that he just watched yesterday. He said so. There you go. That's number 3. Coming in at number 2, Gladiator 2. Did you end up finishing that? I know you said you were watching it.
I didn't end up finishing it. No,
I didn't really care for it as much as the first movie, but he put it in as his number 2. Again, he says he hasn't seen many movies this year that came out this year. And coming in at number 1 for Lewis, that's Deadpool and Wolverine. So there you go. Mary at number 3, Gladiator 2 at number 2, Deadpool and Wolverine at number 1. Let's take a look at Rob's list that he sent me. Rob, his list consists of coming in at number 5. This is his revised one. Actually, he has a couple honorable mentions. He said Beetlejuice was an honorable mention for him, and then he got the One Love Bob Marley movie about Bob Marley that came out this year.
Apparently that was good. I didn't get to actually. You know what? I did see it. I did see it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah, that was the beginning of the year.
And then
it flipped over my head. I forgot about it.
Tragically Hip came out with I guess
a documentary.
Movie, No Dress Rehearsals that he put on his honorable mentions. Okay, so coming in at number 5. Holy cow. This is really an updated revised list. This is crazy. I believe this is in order because I don't think you would have put this at number 1, this other movie. Okay, coming in at number 5, though. I'm proud of you, Rob. You came a long way here. Deadpool and Wolverine coming in at number 5. There you
I'm
go.
surprised.
Rob actually went to see a Marvel movie and he enjoyed it. So there you go. There you have it, everybody. You hear to hear it first. That's number 5. Coming in at number 4, Twisters. I know there's been a lot of talk about that lately. I think that was in your honorable mentions the other day, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yeah, I can't seem to get through that movie. Every time I put it on, I get this girl making out with me in the middle of the fucking movie.
Well, there you have it. Coming in at
I
number
told
3.
her I was going to say that.
Coming in at number 3, a movie I can't wait to watch. There's actually 2 movies on his list here. This third and second picks I want to watch. I haven't got around to watching them. Rebel Ridge, which is on Netflix. This was a Netflix streaming one. This is by the same director that did the movie Green Room, which I was a huge fan of. That's the one where Patrick Stewart plays a neo-Nazi character, bro, and the band is stuck in that room. That was great. And then coming in at number 2, some Jason Statham action, The Beekeeper. I've really wanted to watch this.
He talked big things about this one.
No, this is actually
I started watching it,
on
but
a lot of movie podcasts, people have been talking about this movie this year.
I mean, you needed a good Jason Statham movie, and it's about fucking time, bro.
Yeah, but apparently it's more to do with like what the movie's about that got everybody talking. So Rebel Ridge.
It's not about a beekeeper. Well, right, it is about a beekeeper, but not about a beekeeper.
There's like a network of people apparently that are working in this operation. So,
it's a hive.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta watch that. I gotta watch Rebel Ridge and I gotta watch Beekeeper. I heard good things. So coming in number 2, The Beekeeper. Coming in at number 1. Wow, Rob, right under the wire, and this just came out very recently. We've all been talking about it. Carry On. Carry On is his number 1 movie you watched this year. Wow, it's very recent. Maybe that's recency bias. I don't know, but I did enjoy it. But I'm surprised. That's crazy. So there you go. Good list. Good solid list. Coming in number 5, Deadpool and Wolverine. 4, Twisters. 3, Rebel Ridge. 2, Beekeeper. And 1, Carry On. There you go. The new Jason Bateman movie there. And what's his name? Something Edgerton or whatever his name is. That's also in that. The guy from like the Kingsman movies, and he played what's his name too? That one movie.
Which one?
The Elton John movie he was in. Too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
I didn't know his name. I wasn't 100% sure.
Taron Egerton. There you go. Okay, he's in that movie as well. Carry On. Okay, anybody else? Let me see. Leslie sent me something about this. Let me just take a look. I don't think she submitted a list, but she had a reasoning here. She said nothing that she saw that came out this year was that great, so she didn't feel like mentioning anything for her list, her top 5 movies. Okay, so moving on. Let's give Max's and Julie's, because there are other co-hosts on Late Night at the Movies.
Yeah, let's hear what they gotta say.
Make sure if you guys want to hear those picks in detail, they will explain it on Late Night at the Movies, our episode we did for our top 5 favorite movies of the year. There's also honorable mentions on the show too, so make sure to check that out. But Julie, her list for movies, I had it written down here, is Love Lies Bleeding coming in at number 5. Then coming in at number 4, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. Coming in at number 3, Dune Part 2. Coming in at number 2, Deadpool and Wolverine. And coming in at number 1, Civil War this year, which I also want to see. I haven't got around to watching that one yet. All right, and Max, our other co-host in Late Night at the Movies, his list was Furiosa coming in at number 5, a Mad Max Saga. Coming in at number 4, Inside Out 2. Coming in at number 3, Megalopolis. Coming in at number 2, Dune Part 2. And coming in at number 1, Anora. So that, once again, that's Max's list from our Late Night at the Movies co-host. Make sure to check out that episode if you guys want to hear them talk about those movies in detail. All right, Jay, do you want me to get us started on this one, or do you want to start us off?
Go ahead, start us off.
All right, guys. So, honorable mentions. I wanted to throw a few films out there that I didn't mention as honorable mentions on the Late Night at the Movies episode, just to switch it up a bit, because there was so many movies that came out this year I enjoyed. I watched a lot more movies than I did TV this year, as I previously mentioned. And I'm going to throw this out there. Wild Robot. This is a great animated movie. I know, Jay, you also said you had seen it as well this year. Yeah. Honestly, it was a nice movie. It was very emotional as well. I think throughout watching it, those Pixar movies, these animated films, they really can get you, or DreamWorks films, like in that sense while watching them. And this was like a really well animated film, which didn't have a lot of actually, talking characters in it because it's with a robot that's like, just using actions and not words so much. But then it does talk at a certain point in the film. At first, it's not talking, and then there's like a translator, and then it ends up talking to all the animals. So they do eventually get there, but the first little bit of the film, it's like a silent movie for the most part. The first little bit of it, I feel like, right? Yeah, I don't think there was a lot
No,
of
yeah,
talking at
didn't
the
do
start
no.
there. Then when she actually is able to translate and talk to the animals, they all get to they all talk in this forest that this robot gets stranded in, and then it basically becomes like a guardian and friend to the animals in this forest essentially, and you get to learn about how it becomes like bonded to these people and a mother for this one I guess it was like what kind of, it was like a bird of some sort, right? Like
Yeah,
it's uh what was it like
not a bird.
no, it's the ones that fly south essentially for the
Oh, the geese.
geese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a geese, that a baby goose that she ends up meeting, that grows attached to, and then it's kind of like it's one of those things where when they come out of the egg, that it grow, whoever is the first thing that they see become, they thinks it's their mother, right? So it thinks this robot is their mother, and
Mhm.
then everyone looks at it weird because it's got a robot for a mother, right? Out of the other geese there, that is. So it's actually a very cute movie. It's pretty fun, and it's good for all ages for sure.
For
Definitely go
sure.
check that out. And then next up, a Real Pain. I wanted to mention this. This is definitely a dramedy. It's a comedy. It's like part comedy, part drama. But Kieran Culkin just did a really great job. Jesse Eisenberg, this is his movie that he directed, his second film, I think, apparently, that he's written and directed.
Mhm.
But it's really well done. Definitely, got some more serious themes, let's say, to the film. But Kieran Culkin, I think people are talking about he might win an award for this movie. He just did a really good job. He plays the perfect version of a character that, if you watch the show Succession, which I've only watched a little bit of, but if he's basically playing that character in this, at least his attitude from that character that he played.
Mhm.
So it's like the perfect role for him. I think he really works well off of Jesse Eisenberg in this. It was nice seeing him in something again, because I feel like it's been a while since I've seen something I really enjoyed of him being in it as well. So yeah, good movie. Definitely check it out. A Real Pain. And then, just to kind of second what Max had put Inside Out 2 in his top five. Like I said, it was a good year for animation as well. Between the Wild Robot and the Inside Out 2, I really enjoyed watching some of these animated films this year. And again, Out 2 had a lot of heart to it, some funny moments. I really enjoyed watching that one in theater. And Inside Out 1 was good too, but number 2, I think it was maybe even better, honestly. So I really enjoyed watching that one this year. New Pixar movie. And Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I love these ape movies. This has definitely had a lot going for it, but it didn't make any of my top fives or any of my lists, even my main honorable mention list on the show last time I talked about it on
Mhm.
Late Night at the Movies, because I think this kind of fell out just outside of my top 10 for me this year. I think it had to do a lot, this movie, because they're going in a whole new brand new direction for this story after the last new Planet of the Apes trilogy ended. So there's a lot going on with this film, and I look forward to the next installment. But I think for me, it wasn't as good, I felt like, as the previous installments, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. I had a really good time with that one. So yeah, those are a few movies that I wanted to talk about as honorable mentions, Jay, because they just didn't make any of my list this year. How about you?
For number, what do you got? I got number five. I put Spaceman, the Adam Sandler one.
Okay, is this honorable mentions now for you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I got honorable mention, so that'll be my number five because I enjoyed that movie, just to see that Adam Sandler doing, always. I like seeing Adam Sandler doing more serious roles like he's doing lately, as opposed to the comedy. I mean, he's gonna be coming back out with some comedy, and so I can't wait to see that because I think, if I'm not
Happy
mistaken,
Gilmore too.
Happy
He's
Gilmore too.
filmed
Yeah,
Eminem's in it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
should be
yeah,
interesting. It should
yeah.
be interesting, and that should be an real Adam Sandler comedy. But as he's getting older, it's nice to see him play um, these different sorts of roles where he's more uh drama or more thriller or more suspense and stuff like that. So he played Czech astronaut that went to a solo mission in that one. So that was a good one. And I still can't figure out what the fuck had to do with the big spider, but I think it all had to do with something about just being in space for a long period of time. Excuse me. And life in space could be pretty boring, bro, if you're out there by yourself. So that one, I give it as my one of my honorable mentions. Also, number 4 for honorable mention, I had Planet of the Apes. That's the one of the ones I switched out for the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes because that one there, as I was thinking about it, I was like, I apologized to that whole aspect, so I just changed it around a little bit. But it did fall in my honorable mentions because it was probably one of the. I can't wait to see the new style of Planet of the Apes that they're bringing back because the difference between if you go through the years of the Planet of the Apes and you've seen a lot of the from the original Planet of the Apes to this one where the original one was just people in a fucking suit. That's how realistic you get to facial expressions. Even then, you
Yeah.
didn't get the facial expressions good, but because of CGI and stuff that they can do nowadays, I think the facial expressions in this new Planet of the Apes made the movie what it is today because of when technology comes along, it comes a long way, and you can literally see that the amount of effort that they put into this was just amazing. And to see, I'd like to just see the whole new way that this series plays out. It'd be nice because you don't get too many of these. uh you do, but not. Planet of the Apes is one of those ones that kind of holds something dear to the heart in a sense. Like you remember growing up to as a
Mhm.
kid. You remember watching the Donnie Wahlberg. Sorry, that's like Donnie Wahlberg because you had me
The
talking about
Mark
that.
Wahlberg one's
Mark,
terrible. Don't even
yeah,
fucking talk
no,
about
but
that
you
one. It's
you know it brings you
terrible.
back to just watching them
So
regardless.
bad. Tim Burton directed that movie. Horrible.
I mean. It all depends on the
No,
way you
it's
look at
bad.
it. You
No,
can do
it's the
whatever you
worst.
want. You can do whatever you
It's one
want.
of the worst ones ever made.
But yeah, this one was really good. This one was really good. I liked the acting and I like everything that played out in this one. So I gave that for my number 4 honorable mention. Um, what I did with number 3 is I ended up going with iRobot. Sorry, Wild Robot. I don't know why I said
I
iRobot.
Robot's a Will Smith
I was like,
movie.
wrong year, man. I'm thinking three fucking
Wild
four, 10 years
Robot.
ago.
Yeah,
Wild
yeah.
Robot. Because that one, that one I went to also see that with some people and it made it for a whole different experience for me.
Sure.
I don't get to go see the Pixar stuff like I don't get out to see that kind of
Yeah,
stuff
it'd be a
very
little
often.
weird if you're just going out and watching it by
A
yourself.
Pixar thing exactly by myself. So I obviously had company with this one, and it made for a very interesting and exciting, sort of thing. And I think you have to have a certain age group to be there. I don't think you can get that young as an age group. I think you need to be
Oh,
at
these
least
films are made for
six,
everyone. I was
five
just
or
joking
six.
around. It would
No,
have been
I think
fine
you
if you
need.
went and watched it by
No,
yourself.
no, no. I think it's like a 5 and 6. You, if as a kid you would understand it, but these Pixar films are made great where
For adults as
for
well.
adults,
Yeah.
yeah. So just to let us sit there and bear through it too, right? Because if it was a show based just on kids for kids, it might not be so fun to sit in there the whole time. I mean, depending if you like it or not. Some people are just big children at heart, right?
Yeah.
So they can watch that, right?
Yeah.
My number where did I go? My number 2 now was Wolves. That's the one with
Oh, Brad Pitt
Brad
and
Pitt and George Clooney.
yeah, that was fun.
That
That was
was
fun.
very interesting and very funny on how it played out. It was just,
I did enjoy that.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
two guys. It was basically two cleanup men that had to
Yes.
do the same fucking job, basically.
Mhm.
And they're kind of they do different ways of doing it, right? It was an Apple movie. It came out on
It,
Apple
it could have
TV.
it could have honestly, if they made it an actual film that I think it went out in theaters, it could have been better.
Yeah, it went straight to streaming.
Yeah, it was fine. I did enjoy it. I did like seeing those two interact with each other. That's the best part about it, quite
Yeah.
frankly. But as a movie, it's like the story is kind of like whatever. I
You
don't
know
know.
what? It's
Yeah.
following a certain genre of movies in that sense, right? And it wasn't one that would probably do better in box office. I don't think it would have done a better job in a
It's
box
like a
office
buddy cop
setting.
movie, like what that used to
Yeah,
be, right?
that's
It's
why
kind
I
of like
feel like
that.
it came out by itself on just a streaming network, which kind of played for a better. a better
Yeah, but
rollout.
those are big stars. Like, you know what I
They
mean?
don't need
Should
it,
have
but they don't need to
they
be on that.
it should have deserved a theatrical release,
I
though.
get
I
what you're
mean,
saying,
yeah.
but I don't think it needed it.
Which it did. I think it had a limited release, but
Yeah,
it was on streaming and in theaters at the same time, essentially.
but
Yeah.
but the thing is that this one didn't need to. It didn't need to. These guys don't really need to be on a box office thing anymore. They've already have solidified their characters, their names, their people, who they are.
Yeah, sure.
So they don't need to really go. They don't have to get. What was the word I'm looking for? They don't have to get that big paycheck, and they're still getting the big paycheck regardless.
Yeah.
But remember, a lot of it is for fun,
Yeah.
right? And when they do something like this, and
Well, they're
they're not,
friends in real life,
yeah,
so I mean, it's
they
like,
can
yeah.
they play like buddies. The way they play off each other, I don't even think they need to act that. I think it just comes naturally to
Yeah.
them. So it was a good
But
one
that's
for
what
them.
I mean. That's why some people were criticizing this movie, saying they were phoning it in a little bit, like in terms of their performance.
Well, you know what?
I enjoyed
It
it.
didn't
I
push.
enjoyed
No,
it.
no,
I'm
it
just
didn't. They
saying.
didn't push too hard to be their characters, right?
No.
Because they didn't need to.
But that's
They
yeah.
didn't need to.
I think
They,
you're just proving my point. The criticisms about this film.
yeah,
though,
they
right?
didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't need to, because at the end of the day, bro, you can tell they're buddies.
It's
And
okay. Something fell.
no, it was probably me.
No. It's okay.
But yeah, so at the end of the day, uh, I thought that was pretty good. What did I say? That was my number two, and my number one for that one was, and I hate to bump this one off of my top fucking five. Sorry, that I gave to you guys at the last one, but you gotta believe with our little superstar over here.
Yeah.
You know,
Jacob Mazerel.
I see. I have to put it up on screen
Hold
there.
on. Let me just zoom in here for you.
There you go.
There you go.
Right, you got to put him up there, man. Mr. Mikey Valdez, Mr. Mikey Valdez over here.
Yeah.
We that one was good because I also got to see it with family. I got to see it
Oh, it's a great
because
time.
my nephew was in it, right? And you had Greg Kinnear, which is a great actor. He's played a lot of parts. He's also played in some I think it was the TV series of Salem's Lot, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah.
He's played in quite a few things. And then you got Luke Wilson, which we all know Luke Wilson from Old School.
Yeah.
And that's the Luke Wilson I remember, not the dying
sure.
Luke Wilson in this one, but this one was a real good sports, but plus drama as well, because it was like
inspiring in some aspects.
It was happy, and then it was like, you know what? Then it was just sad to give you a gut punch right at the end.
I would put that in my honorable mentions too, though. We had a good time watching that one.
Yes, and it was good because we all got together as family, and we got to go watch it in the theater together, which was a great time. Nico came up there too, and Christine.
Great experience.
Great time, and great to see the little guy, all the work and effort he's put into it, that he put into it. To see him on the screen was nice to see.
That was awesome.
You don't ever believe to see a family member on a screen like that, right? So to see him with two big stars, because I still consider them big stars, regardless of what people think. Obviously, a Luke Wilson is a decent sized star, but a Greg Kinnear is an underrated TV show star. I think that he doesn't get probably the respect that he deserves.
He's been around a long time. He's been a long time,
and he's done a lot of different things, right?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah,
right?
so
yeah. Luke Wilson, I just actually seen he was on a new show that dropped on Netflix that I just finished watching yesterday called No Good Deeds.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, actually. He was in that, and he plays a character I feel like he's played a lot. If you like this old school character, you might like this one. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah. All right, so that's good. So those are honorable mentions.
Yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Those 5 honorable mentions. So
okay.
I'll give it to you once over again. Salem's, Spaceman. What did I say? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Wild Robot.
Yeah.
Wolves.
Yeah. And
you gotta believe.
Nice. Yeah, my honorable mentions again were Oh, I gotta pull mine up. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, A Real Pain, Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, and let's throw Furiosa in there as well because I actually didn't make my list and I did enjoy that one. So yeah, that's one I didn't talk about. And again, guys, make sure to watch the Late Night at the Movies episode because there's different honorable mentions that we talked about there as well. So this is just an extension of that.
Mhm.
And while JT is revising his list, I'm keeping my list the same from that episode. So I'll mention that to you guys right now before I give you my top 5 horror movies that didn't make my list. My list from doing that show was The Substance coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 was Deadpool and Wolverine. Coming in at number 3 was Terrifier 3. Coming in at number 2 was Dune Part 2. And coming in at number 1 was Anora for my favorite movie that I watched this year. So that was my list, my top 5 favorite movies 2024 that was on that episode that we talked about, Late Night at the Movies. Make sure to check that out. But as I mentioned on that show, it was such a great year for horror that I had to basically hit you guys with a top 5 horror list to kind of change it up a little bit on this episode. So here we go. This is not including, obviously, Terrifier 3 and The Substance, which were in my top 5 movies. So this is the other 5 really good horror movies that I watched this year. And, coming in.
I'm glad you got these because I was able to take the horror movies off my list in a sense.
Right.
Because
you knew I was going to be
covering I knew you were going to be covering something like this because I didn't, I thought after when you said it, I actually did think that horror was pretty good this year.
It was great.
There was more than ever, and there was a lot of corny stuff, but there was also a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Right. There's always a lot of corny horror, right?
Of
Obviously,
course, of course. But you got to kind of judge horror on a different scale as you would other things.
Oh,
honestly,
yeah, for sure.
Comes to that. But you and me are both fans of horror. We're all, some of the only of our friends that are not afraid to watch the genre. Apparently, a lot of people don't like horror. They can't take it.
Well, I mean, I know that I've been trying to see if I can get the new girlfriend to watch horror, but she went on to
Oh, really? Yeah. See, there you go.
I got to keep her away from here during Halloween, bro.
So coming in at number 5 for me was actually one that was on Netflix that I quite enjoyed. Actually, this was a big surprise for me.
Which was?
It's called Abigail. Have you seen this movie?
I've heard the name.
So the less said about this movie, the better. I'm just gonna tell you that it starts out and you think it's like a heist action crime movie. And then it turns out to be something completely different. So that's all I can really say to you. It's about a bunch of people robbing a house, okay, at the start of this movie. And then it quickly goes off the rails. And it turns out to be something complete. Why are you spoiling it? Shut the fuck up over there. Jesus Christ, guys. We're in like our 4th hour recording here today. Yes, it is a vampire film. Let's just leave it at that. Great. Thanks for spoiling it, douchebag. There you go, guys.
Sorry, okay. I didn't know that was the part you wanted to hide.
That is, of course, the part I want to hide because it doesn't start out as that. It's revealed that it has something to do with that later on. So there you go. If that's a hook that will get you guys to watch it, thank JT for that. So there you go. But it is a very interesting movie that goes in places that I did not expect it to. Honestly, it starts out as something completely different and goes off into a whole other direction. So Abigail actually was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one. So I put that as my number 5.
Anybody you know in there?
Or
you've watched in anything
There is
else?
a couple of actors in there that I am familiar with. This Melissa Barrera, the main chick in this movie, I believe she was in Scream. Yeah, she's in the new Scream film. She's the new actress that was in the newest Scream films that have been very good. And also this guy Dan Stevens, who's in it. He's been in a lot of other things this year as well. He was also in another horror movie that came out this year that did not make this top 5 for me. Was called Cuckoo, which was not bad.
I haven't even seen it yet.
It's okay. I think it got a lot more praise than it did. Like for me, it was just okay.
The picture looked cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. The movie, it's worth a watch. Okay. But it just a lot of people I seem like enjoyed that movie more than I did this year.
Yeah.
Another one actually that just didn't even make my top 5 here that was a lot of people really enjoyed this year too. I'm just going to quickly mention is Late Night with the Devil. Did you watch that movie? It's with a talk show host.
Trips me out because I'm thinking of the show Late Night.
Yeah, so this is a movie called Late Night with the Devil, which again got a lot of a lot of acclaim this year as a horror movie. I'm just going to throw that out as an honorable mention for horror. Didn't make my top 5, but again, that and Cuckoo, I think were a lot of people's lists this year. It just didn't make my list in terms of the horror movies. But
what was it called again?
One's called Cuckoo. The other one's called Late Night with the Devil. A lot of people like Late. I actually think it is very good, but it's probably just outside of my top 5 list that I'm about to give you right now. It was good, but you know the guy in it, Jay. You probably seen him in lots of things. The main guy in that movie.
Yeah,
I think it was a streaming film, but it was very well received. Good movie.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead.
I'm just writing some of your stuff down in case I want to check it out.
Yeah,
right?
I know you like horror too, right?
Yeah.
How about your number 5?
Just the late night thing with our show and all that stuff. It fucking throws me right out. It's like, yeah, right, perfect. Maybe that's what caught Nico's attention.
That's right. Late Night with the Devil. So coming in at JT's revised number 5 list here is a revised list from Late Night Movies. Wait till our other co-hosts hear what you had to say about that one. I don't think they're going to appreciate you revealing it. You winged it on our last episode.
No, it's not that I winged it. It's just that yeah, I kind of revised it a little bit because I told you there was so many things that I didn't think of when I was here that day. And
fair enough. Yeah. And we still haven't been able to talk about Nosferatu because it hasn't come out yet. And that will probably make our list. I guarantee
that one we have to have a reaction video for that one.
Yeah.
Man, because honestly, dude,
maybe we'll all get together over the holidays and do that one. But what you can put in number 5, Jay?
Yeah, we should all get together on Christmas Day and watch it. That'd be fucking hilarious. We'll go as a crowd.
Oh man,
that'd be hilarious, man.
Can't wait.
So it's still there. It is on my list because, like I said, it's a great film, and anything with a Michael Keaton in it is just to see him back. So I had to do the Beetlejuice, right? Because
still makes your list, eh?
Yeah, still makes my list because honestly, you know what? It's a great film. It was nice to see the difference after 20 years. Is it 20 years exactly, or is it 15 to 20 years somewhere? It's been a long time. I think
it's 30 years.
30 years, right?
I think so.
Dude,
yeah.
That just makes me feel even more older. So fuck off.
This is 30 years.
Let's just tell everybody it was 20 for us.
Yeah, because it was 94, right? I think.
Yeah. The original one, if you're saying in 94, then it's 30 years, bro. That's fucking crazy. Or was it in
the 80s? I can't remember. No, I don't.
No, it wasn't in the 80s.
It was after Batman, right?
I would think so, yeah.
Oh, it's 88. Holy crap, man. So that's 30. That's 36 years.
For you, it's 38 for me, bro.
Yeah. What do you mean it's 38 for you? It's 36 years old.
Yeah, so okay.
88.
Yeah.
I'm 37.
Yeah, so you were 1 when that thing came out?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me, man.
36 years old.
7 years old then?
Wow. Huh?
It makes me 7 years old?
When it came out?
Yeah, because 81
You're not that
I was
much
born.
older than me. 81?
I was born in 81.
So you would have been 7, yeah.
No, I am older than you because you're younger than my brother.
I knew you were a few years older than me, but I didn't know it was that many years older than me. I forget sometimes.
Yeah, I know because I forget. Like, my brother's only 2 years older than me, but then you're 2 years
right.
younger than him,
like
right?
Thick. Yeah, okay, yeah.
It works out. So
6 years.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, but it was nice to see that role come back and just have a different, totally different, have a different view because with all the shit that happened with the certain characters on that film and how they had to slowly kill them off, which was so cool.
So I just want to add something to that. I seen a video the other day that explained that how that whole story that they did in animation with that character, the father. We know why they did it, but what I didn't know is, and I even talked about this when we did the Beetlejuice show on Late Night at the Movies. We talked about the original Beetlejuice. Christine came on as a guest. You remember how I told you they never made that second film they were planning, where it was Beetlejuice goes to Hawaii? It was the idea for it. That's why that scene was the Hawaii scene.
In the Hawaii
he died on the wind, so that's why they threw that in there.
So they just kind of snuck it in there.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Attention. Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I didn't realize there was one Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii.
That was it was the idea that they were going to do in the 90s, but it just never came to
sounds
fruition.
so corny.
It's stupid.
Yeah,
it's like a weekend at Bernie's or something.
Yeah,
like Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii.
What's he gonna do? Catch a tan?
Right. So they never did it.
No,
it just never came together. but it was something they were batting around with. That was an Easter egg of them making Hawaii a reference in that animation.
That's pretty cool.
That's where he died, over the waters of Hawaii.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like
what.
the shark.
Yeah, that's pretty cool
Right?
though.
Yeah.
That's pretty
so
cool.
there you go. There's a little tidbit.
And then Beetlejuice technically did go there because he probably took him back with him.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a fun movie. I liked it. It was a good time.
Yeah. So that was my number 5.
Okay. My number 4.
Yeah.
Coming in at my number 4 for now, we're doing the horrors. Which one do I put here? I have my list.
Nico's a fucking horror freak. Like horror freak,
I'm
not a
put
horror
Speak
freak.
No Evil here. Speak No Evil. This is a remake of I think it's a Danish film that originally came out with. And to be honest with you, the only reason it's at number 4 for me is because I believe the original I liked more than the remake. I did really like this. Here's the thing: the whole appeal about this remake for me was seeing James McAvoy play the main character. He is unhinged, and he's going 100. He's giving it 110% in this film, like how demented he is as a character. But again, this is one of those movies where the less I tell you about it, the better. If it's something that interests you in checking out, it's basically about these two couples that meet each other on vacation, and then they're from different parts of the world or in Europe. And then all of a sudden, one of them reaches out to the other one and says, "Hey, why don't you come spend your next vacation down at our home or whatever?" And they're like, "Okay, sure, I'll take you up on the option on the offer."
Mm-hmm.
And again, these are people that only met once on vacation and hung out for a day or two, and then all of a sudden he's going over to where he lives to stay as a guest in their part of the country.
Oh, I did watch this one this year with you.
And
period.
Right. And then it kind of just goes from there. You got to see kind of how the story advances when these two meet up with each other. James McAvoy in it. Mackenzie Davis is in it. She was really good.
And the other one is the original one is only 2 years old.
Yes, it's not that old.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And Scoot McNairy is in it. Him and Mackenzie Davis, they were in a show, Halt or Catch Fire, which I was a really big fan of, about the computer programmer, like people. They were making video games and making like the first early computers and stuff like that in the show. So seeing them reunite in this when they played opposite of each other in the cast of that show was really cool to see. And yeah, James McAvoy was amazing in it. So Speak No Evil, like I said, the only reason this was a Blumhouse remake.
Production,
yeah, and because it's the Americanized version, I felt it wasn't as dark as the Swedish or Danish one or whatever, the original. So the original is a much darker end to the film, I will say. And for that reason, I like that version better, but the acting is probably better in this film. So there you go. In at number 4.
Number 4, that's nice. All right. So my number 4 was The Joker Part 2.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Folie deux.
Folie deux.
Yeah.
I won't say that word because I just don't want to fuck it up. But yeah, Part 2. Okay. That one I liked because didn't I see that with you? No, I seen that by myself.
I still haven't seen Joker.
Oh yeah, you still haven't seen that one. You refuse to see it.
Christine's seen it.
That's what I told my dad. I remember telling my dad, Nico refuses to watch that one. I don't know why, but he just refuses to watch it. I liked it. I still like what's his name? This is after fucking 4 hours of recording. What's his name? Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. I like that. I see where they're still doing I know Nico's got that. He's up in the air about that. Makeup, if it's a mental health fucking thing or if it's a fucking a dance off or whatever, or fucking musical or whatever. I think they played the musical well. I think they did it to the point where it helps with the mental health stuff in that sense. And I still don't believe that besides Jack Nicholson, I still believe this has got to be the best Joker that I've ever watched play Joker. And for a guy to get down like
better
this
than
guy,
Heath Ledger,
because you know why? This guy when he gets into his roles,
What? Just because he looks
No, it doesn't
emaciated
matter.
in this, he lost all his weight.
No,
Who
but
the
it
hell
doesn't matter. It
cares?
doesn't matter what role he does. He plays the character well. He becomes that person. Now, I don't know if that's a sick thing in the head. Maybe that's his mental health thing, right? But he becomes that person. He can make you believe he's anybody. He made me believe he was Johnny Cash, bro. So,
That's a good movie.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Walk
Like,
the Line. Yeah, he's good in that
dude,
movie.
and it's not like he can't sing,
Yeah, he's good.
right? So it's not. I mean, it's not. People were comparing it to Lady Gaga and fucking Bradley Cooper and stuff like
A
that.
Star is Born.
A
Yeah.
Star is Born, right? It's got, it's not A Star is Born. Trust me, it's very far from A Star is Born.
Yes.
I mean, no, well, A Star is Born because the Joker is born. You know what I mean in that sense. But, um, yeah, I really liked it. I don't know if it's for everybody.
It's definitely not
Um,
because a lot of critics hated it, right?
well, you know what?
Hey,
If we were all critics that hated shit, then nothing would be out,
there
bro.
you go.
So you know what I mean. There's got to be some of us that
Yeah,
like it, right?
yeah.
So I
Quentin Tarantino did.
he liked it, right?
He's championing it. He
You
loves
see,
it.
bro, you know what? If Quentin Tarantino says so, then it's all good with you guys.
There you go.
Should be all good with you, bro. I know if I don't
Listen,
know.
he's just trying to please his fans. He's trying to please critics that are his fans. Right? That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, for
Oh,
anybody who gets that reference out there, good on you.
it's probably one of those ones in those snippets that you watch where he's talking about it, right?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. I mean, I haven't watched it, but that's fine. It's cool. It's your pick.
Well, you know what? I mean, maybe you should at least give it a watch, bro. It's not
I'm
part of
gonna
the year.
watch it
You have to,
eventually.
when you can sit
Eventually.
down and watch it and then tell me what you think
All
about
right.
it because you can't just hype on it. You can't just gripe on it because, you want
Yeah,
to
I
join.
can. I just don't like it. What do
Yeah,
you want? I didn't
I
like
know you don't
the
like it,
first
but
film.
for a Batman guy, I'm surprised. That's all I have to
Why?
say.
What is Batman about this movie? Nothing. Just the fact that his name is the Joker. This is
Doesn't matter, bro.
that's actually one
It's
of the
still
main
the same
reasons why I do
series.
not want to watch it because this is an awful representation of the Joker, in
Oh,
my opinion. So
okay,
there you go. That's it.
okay.
Going off on a tangent. Don't piss me off now. We're trying to wrap up the show. All right. Coming at number 3 for my horror movies, other horror movies you should watch, check out this year, best of horror, is In a Violent Nature, coming at number 3. Now, this was a Shudder film. I talked about it, I believe, on the show. If I think on Late Night at the Movies, I had brought it up at some point, or maybe on Late Night Chat with JT. I can't remember when. But basically, this is a Jason movie. This is not Jason, but it is a Jason-like character. This is one of the best-looking shot films I've ever seen in the filmography. For a movie like this, the cinematography, not filmography, the cinematography of this film, like the way that it's shot, it's like an art house film. Like it's like an indie horror film. Like it's just really well done. It's shot better than it has any right to be, but at its core, it's got some of the craziest gory kills I've seen in a movie this year outside of Terrifier 3. This has really this actually at the horror awards, they have a horror film awards, I guess, as well, that came out that comes out every year. That I read about this. I didn't even know it was a thing. This won the best kill of the year in a horror film. That's all. There's really 2 or 3 really great kill sequences in this movie, which are the creativeness of the kills in this. It's like it does give Terrifier a run for its money in a year that Terrifier came out, and it made my top 5 for horror films because I feel like he's the best new slasher in line of this generation, in the same line of now where the Freddys, the Jasons, the Michael Myers, you got the Scream guy, and probably now fucking Terrifier, Art the Clown. So like that, in my opinion, that's like the top 5 slashers, and he's just joined the list, honestly, very recently. So um, this is great. This movie, though, like I said, it's like a Jason movie. It's about a guy stalking and killing all these people, and that gets resurrected from the woods. It is like some undead creature of sorts, and it's bloody. It's a hell of a really great time. Good stuff.
Nice.
In a Violent Nature.
Nice.
All right. How about your number 3?
My number 3 is The Monkey Man.
Yeah.
Right? Great fucking film, man. It's a Jordan Peele produced with Dave Patel, and then Dave Patel was the director, but he's also the fucking main character in the movie.
Dev Patel, I think it
Dev
is.
Patel,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I say Dave, whatever. I'm just doing the English version. All right. This is a Hindi English movie, so we can do both ways.
There
Okay.
you go.
Um, it's a universal film. It's great. It's a young man ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where, night after night he's wearing a fucking gorilla mask and he's beating bloodier and bloodier and fucking. But there's a whole there's a it's not just a they got a love story sort of twisted in there somehow. They have a mother and son fucking storyline twisted in there somehow, and then they got a fucking revenge, fucking like John Wick style fucking.
Yeah, it's the Indian John Wick movie. I heard essentially,
But I think it's bloodier than a John Wick,
and
Wick
there's more
film.
hand-to-hand combat.
This is more, yeah, as
Yeah,
opposed to
guns.
guns. You know what
Yes,
I mean? As opposed to cool cars and stuff like
right,
that. This is more like the slums of India in that sense, right? Where this is how they have to survive to if they want to
right.
become who they are.
I want to watch
If they
this.
want to
Yeah.
get to this fucking tier, they have to work their way up from the fucking bottom. You know,
So it does have a bit of like an underground element, like John Wick did too. You know what I mean? Like it's
more
like,
like, but more like in a Fight Club sense,
okay,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Because it is very, very graphic and
right,
very fucking, not where you're not in the Fight Club, you're having a fight with yourself. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
you're no, this guy's literally, and the action that's in this movie is next to none. The actual fight sequences and stuff like that is something like a fucking Bruce Lee or a fucking.
right.
This is
Jackie Chan, kind of like
I don't even know about Jackie Chan. Like Jackie Chan is
his
more of like
old movies are
maybe yeah, when he
much more
was younger,
grittier. Yeah,
when he was, it wasn't so funny.
Legend of the Drunken Master, kind of
Yeah,
like
that's
type.
where this thing is, and it's just it's a great movie. I think Max brought it up
Put
to
you
me.
onto it. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like um we've seen Dev Patel and other things too as
Mhm.
well, but when to see him in a fighting role like this is just next to none
Right.
unbelievable, right? Like,
And
and
yeah,
he's a
Jordan
skinny
Peele's
little.
involved. Yeah,
Yeah, Jordan Peele is good as
yeah,
a director, period,
yeah,
right? So I mean, I don't know what they fall under, if it just falls under action thriller, this one, or what does
yeah.
it fall under, drama probably too as well. I mean, this they can never decide what movies are anymore. You can't just have one thing to it. It's an action thriller, yeah. So you can never just have one thing to it, right? You can't have just action. You can't have just thriller. You can't have, you always have to have one with that other. Otherwise, it doesn't
Right.
seem right.
That's right.
But it's just phenomenal.
Okay, I'm
It's
gonna check it out. I'm gonna
and I'm
make a
not a
note.
big fight. I'm not a big fight person in that
Right.
sense when it comes to TV, when it comes to movies. Sorry,
Right.
but yeah, it really blew
I-
my mind.
I'm gonna try to make an effort to watch it over the holiday. Then I think
Yeah,
so.
you,
Yeah.
you got it because
Yeah.
it's
I know
worth a
I'd
good
like
talk.
it. I know I would like it. It sounds like it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's very it's also touching too as well, right?
Okay.
So yeah,
Coming in at my number 2, Smile 2. I liked this a lot, man. This is better than the first Smile. Honestly, it's way better than the
it's
first Smile.
creepier. I noticed that.
Yeah, and also like the focus of this movie, because it has to do with a pop star, is the main person that gets the smile attached to her that you're following throughout this film, puts her in a lot of interesting situations. Honestly, because thinking of a pop star, how she's got a big audience and she's put into a lot of situations with fans and the general public, and having present herself in certain situations as a pop star, as an icon of sorts. This is basically what if Taylor Swift essentially became a smile person. Let's just put it in that sense, right? So if you think of that aspect, and the woman who plays her, I don't know the actress's name. I should bring it up right now. She is excellent. I thought she did a really great job in this movie. I was very impressed, because this is one of those movies where you feel like this is just going to be like one of those ones you catch on cable or something like that at some point. But I watched this in theaters and it was well worth it, honestly. I thought she did an amazing job. And it actually takes place literally minutes after the end of the first movie, so this goes right into it. And honestly, the way this movie ended, I could see them continuing to do movies in this franchise. They really opened the door for like taking this into more interesting direction than they ever have so far. Naomi Scott is the person that plays Sky Riley, the pop star in this movie, and she is excellent. And let's not forget, Jack Nicholson's son was in this, Ray Nicholson, which is really cool to see him in this role, because that smile, man, that iconic Jack Nicholson's smile. His son has it in spades. Honestly, it's really creepy to see him as that character doing the smile because it's the Jack Nicholson smile. It's like a little bit of The Shining in there. You know what I mean? I
and
loved
it's
it.
just younger too, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It was a lot of fun seeing him in this. So he had a small role, but it was good still to see him in this. And I hope we see more from him, honestly.
yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that was a big selling point about this film when it came out. He was on the poster. Like, it was a big deal when everyone.
Well, I
announced
mean,
that.
we ain't gonna see his old man anymore, except at a fucking,
No,
you
that's
know,
it. He's a shut in at this point,
yeah.
from what I hear. So
So
sadly, all right, that's my number 2 for horrors. There, they didn't make my top 5 this year.
nice.
How about you, Jay?
Number two, my number 2 movie was the Deadpool Wolverine one. I think I was telling you
Yeah.
because, you know, it was a great movie. It was funny all around. I mean, I like Will and I like Ryan Reynolds.
Of course.
You know, I mean, who doesn't,
Yeah,
right?
he's your
And
favorite.
yeah, I mean, and he's always good with Hugh Jackman when they get together. They make a good team. And you know, it was fun to go watch it with you in theaters. That was also another good thing.
Yeah.
We, you know, when we get together and we actually go see things, you know, because fuck, I've never seen somebody smile like this guy when it came to the Wolverines. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I had seen something at the store the other day with the Wolverine. I'm like, I don't know if this is the one that Nico likes. Right? I think it was it was just like a Christmas tree
Right.
ornament, right? And I was like, yeah, I don't think he likes the Hallmark version of Wolverine,
No.
you know. So, but yeah, that one was a great film. It keeps you at the edge of your seat, like just all of the Deadpool movies, right? They just keep you laughing. They keep you
it's funny.
smiling. They keep you, you know, you see your blood, your guts, your gore, you know, your gore, and you get to see a shitload of fucking different
Wolverines, different universe,
different Wolverines
yeah,
and different
Deadpools,
Deadpools, right? So that was interesting, right?
yeah,
To see how
a lot of
they have,
multiversal type of shit going on.
yeah,
One.
trying to straighten it all out, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a great watch, and you know, I recommend people to go check that one out this year.
It was a fun time, absolutely.
Yeah.
It made my top 5 as well.
Mhm.
All right, coming in at number 1 for horrors there, because it was a great year of horror. As I mentioned, this is not including Terrifier 3 and The Substance that made my actual top 5 this year, but next in line for top 5 horror, this is one that actually I'm surprised didn't make my top 10, like even with my honorable mentions that we talked about on Late Night at the Movies. I think maybe I don't know if I want to say I had problems with the story, but the story itself, the movie, there was a lot to like about it, but it didn't all come together for me at the end in the way to put it forward into my top 5 or honorable mentions this year. That being said, the performance in the film itself is excellent, and that's Heretic. Did you end up watching this yet? Oh my god, man!
Bro, I seen the fucking preview.
It's a great movie.
I seen the reaction.
It's
yeah,
A24.
A24's got quite a few. I just started following it on YouTube, so I want to see what's gonna bring up in my feed and shit.
But Hugh Grant, I've never seen this.
He's creepy, bro.
This is one of Hugh Grant's like best performances in this movie. Honestly, like
maybe the older he gets, the creepier he gets. I don't know.
But he's now like doing these other, like when he was in The Gentleman, like he's doing these other roles now. He's no longer like the old English romantic comedy guy.
Yeah,
like he's now stepping into this interesting part of his career,
the creep,
where he's doing these different roles. Like he's really going for it. Like he's doing these different stuff. He's just so good in this movie. He is a super creep in this movie, but also honestly, Jay, if you watch this movie, it's going to give you a lot to think about because there's all these ideas about religion in this film. And he's somebody who's like a person that wants to believe in something, but he isn't able to find it. So he goes down the rabbit hole and like loses his mind to a certain degree. And you have to watch this movie and the way it unfolds to really understand the character and his motivations. And it's honestly one of his best performances I've ever seen. He is excellent in this movie.
Just seeing the preview where he just like literally gets the girls to come in because he says his wife is baking fucking blueberry pie.
And then they see it's a candle.
Dude,
that's just the start.
I know.
That's like the first 10 minutes. That's like the first 10 minutes.
This is going to be a creeper fucking
and it
film.
goes off the rails from there. Yeah, you got to watch it. It's honestly, it's again, A24 that does a good job in horror films, as we know. And this is no exception. And for me, It's starring that Maisie, what's her name? No, so Sophie Thatcher, who's in that movie, that show that we like with the plane that goes down with the soccer player girl, the girls that are all
Oh,
soccer
Yellow
players.
Jackets.
Yellow Jackets, which
Yeah.
is another show that takes forever to come out.
I know, like what the fuck.
I know, but we love that show. And Sophie Thatcher is one of the girls in it. One of the
Okay.
girls from Yellow Jackets.
Mhm.
She's one of the two girls that's in this movie opposite of Hugh Grant.
Okay,
Her
okay.
and Chloe East, who I'm not as familiar with. Also, an appearance by Topher Grace from that 70s show. He shows up in it at one point.
He's kind of creepy too now
Yeah,
as he's getting
yeah.
older. Eh? Like yeah, I can't see him as the stoner and
No,
fucking
no.
Eric Foreman.
Yeah, Eric Foreman anymore. But anyways, he shows up in weird things. So
Yeah.
he's in this for
I mean, who has a name like Topher? Why don't you put Christopher?
I know. It's a weird name. So,
You know? So
but yeah, so there you go. Heretic is my number one of movies that like
Horror
horror.
films.
Yeah, that I wanted to mention here today, and definitely go check that out, guys. If you've yet to do that, it's really good.
Yeah.
All right, Jay.
And number one's still going to be the same for me, like it
Of
was in the
course.
thing. It's Megalopolis, man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
That changed my life, bro. This year, it did.
Changed my life. I love it.
Changed my life.
I love
bro.
it. It really did. His outlook
Give me a
at life.
different perspective.
It hit at the right time for you.
It did.
I felt, right?
It did, bro.
Yeah.
It did. And you know what? I haven't looked back since.
There you go.
You know what I mean, guys?
Are you gonna rewatch it on New Year's?
My dad says he hasn't watched it. I said, Dad, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Do it like Francis Ford Coppola said.
Watch it on
He
New
said,
Year's.
watch it on New Year's, because when I watched it, it came out, and that my life has changed since then.
It's good, man.
Right?
I'm glad to hear it. It's a very optimistic film.
Yeah, I didn't realize how deep it was gonna hit me. I think Max knows how much it hit me, because I told you we had hours of conversations about this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get over this. There's not words to put it in anymore that I can keep saying about this movie. It just makes you think. It makes you realize that plays into the aspect too, even of that Brilliant Minds TV show that I watched.
Okay.
Because you know what, it's just showing you that life is anything we want to think it is, because we have so much ability to do things, so much potential. Yeah. In our life, and we don't even know it yet. It's just like right there at our grasp, and we can't get it.
Scratching the surface. Of,
we can't get it yet.
Of our potential on a human existence on a level. Like,
well, you know what? I'm almost watching it as I'm watching the little kids grow up nowadays, bro. That level.
They're the future.
They are the future, and that are. We've gotten to a certain point, like say in our generation, that it kind of. We can't see that far as
we need a new way of thinking. Essentially.
Yeah, we didn't grow up in the time they are, and they're growing up in a time where there's a lot more thinking, and there's a lot more way of learning things, and there's a lot more stuff that they've learned since we've grown up. So
that's the dawn of a new era.
Yeah, they're gonna have that. As it took us our whole life, it took us 30 years to realize certain things. They're realizing it in 10.
Right.
And if they're realizing it in 10, what about the next 10 years? And the next 10 years after that?
There's got to be an evolution of
it has to be a change of a human being. Of a human being. Like we all evolve regardless. And I don't think we still as a human completely evolved like that. So I think this movie leaves your mind open to an interpretation of it. And I don't care what anybody says. They can talk shit about this movie. I know that there's people that have done that. It wasn't
critically well received.
No, but I think if they really understood it, and I've watched it more than once now, and every time I watch it, I seem to pick up something new from it.
Yeah.
So I think everybody should go out and watch it. Excuse me. I think you guys should also go watch it on the New Year's, like they say, just in case, because I'm going to try it out and see if it gives me a different perspective.
Right.
And see if it makes a difference to me. But I always said September was my fucking New Year. I think this year, right? It changed a lot of things for me in the way I thought of things.
Good.
So
that's good.
But yeah,
I said, it's a very optimistic film, and you also being a little bit more optimistic lately in your own life or the way you've been going about things. I think it obviously hit you in a certain way as well.
Oh, right? Yeah, for sure. For sure, right? It hit me hard.
Like I said, I couldn't get there 100% with the actual movie itself, whether or not I loved it as much as you guys. Clearly I did it. It made you and Max's top 5 list for the year. That being said, I do love the themes of this film. I love the messaging of this film. I love certain aspects of this movie as well. So I get why I maybe after I watch another 1 or 2 times, maybe I'll get where you guys are, honestly, because I am liking. I did say the second time I watched this movie, I liked it more than I watched it the first when we did this our discussion.
Yeah.
And you guys can watch that video on Late Night at the Movies. We did a whole video of me, Max, and JT talking about that film and talking about our thoughts on it. And you could also hear Jay talk about it again on Late Night at the Movies, our favorite movies of 2024 episode as well, when he kind of talked more about it, how it was his favorite movie then too. That's one thing that hasn't changed in your list. It was really just a small revision of sorts that you guys saw here today.
I kind of just twisted up a couple things. That's all. Like I said, nothing really changed. My list was still really the same.
Right.
It's just I changed up a few of the order I put it in.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You made sure to put Monkey Man in, essentially.
This time and unfortunately, I bumped out my nephew.
Yeah. Well, listen.
It's all good.
It's right there, though. It's still mentioned more than once.
That was meaningful.
He knows how much you enjoyed the movie.
Of course.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for our top 5 movies 24 then, guys. Wow. This is a long and great episode. Listen.
Nice.
We always do it. We always do it big for this episode.
I got 2 hours of sleep tomorrow, buddy. What about you?
Yeah, well, listen.
By the time I get home, it's 2 hours.
It would have made a difference whether you're here or not. You know that, bro.
Bro, you know what? All I need is a nap for fucking working a 9-hour shift.
Listen, let's go over your list one more time, though, for the folks at home, Jay, before we wrap her up here. That's your top 5.
My 5 was Beetlejuice. My 4 was Joker Part 2, or Foyer, whatever you want to call it. All right. My number 3 was Monkey Man. My number 2 was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
And my number 1, and I'll always be my number 1 for this year, man, is Megalopolis. All right.
All right. So my number 5, which was my list that we talked about, my 5 favorite of the year on the favorite movies of 2024, Late Night at the Movies episode, is in this order. Number 5, The Substance. Number 4, Deadpool and Wolverine. Number 3, Terrifier 3. Number 2, Dune Part 2. And number 1, Anora. Now, my top 5 horror movies of this year that did not make my list that I wanted to talk about here tonight are the following. That's number 5. Hold on. Which one was it here? No, Speak No Evil is number 4. Oh, yeah, Abigail. Thank you. Number 5 was Abigail. Number 4 was Speak No Evil, the remake that came out this year. Number 3 was In a Violent Nature. Number 2 was Smile 2. And number 1 was Heretic for my top 5 horrors, though, that were not mentioned this year that I want to talk about today. So there you go, guys. That's going to do it for this episode of our year-end media review of 2024, Jay. Always a great time. And once again, guys, Late Night Chat Network, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to check out our many shows here on the network going into the new year. And don't forget, episode 300 of Late Night Chat, the last episode of Late Night Chat with all the hosts, is going to be airing live on Saturday, January 11th, everyone. So make sure to tune in for that. That's going to be a hell of a fun episode. And yeah, a sad one as well. But
if I fucking cry, I'm going to you're going to get it, bro.
We're going to do it big, though. It'll be a lot of fun. So make sure tune in for that, guys. And
get ready for that.
Yeah. Why the hell does it say 2023? Was it saying that earlier, too? It's supposed to say 2024. What's going on here?
It goes in the wrong year. You know what? It could have been saying the whole time. I have it on a small screen, so I didn't even see it, bro.
Oh, no, it was here. Sorry. Okay, I did have it up. I don't know. That must have been like an old one that I pulled up here. I was still in our list here for Late Night Chat. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because we do have year end. We just have to. We usually just switch the names, right? The dates or whatever, right?
All right. So there you go, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching these. Like and subscribe, and make sure to tune in the new year for all of our new content as well. And I hope everybody had a great Christmas or whatever you celebrate out there, and a great new year.
Happy Kwanzaa.
And a great year to come. There you go, guys. All right, Jay. Later.
Peace out, brother.
Later.